Doug, what a moment. 30 years now. Let's back up a second. You said we need a neutral tournament. Where are we going to have it? How many people laughed and said, this will never last?
Well, we didn't know that we'd be this successful and this long in St. Louis, but it was almost a layup for us. After having a final at Illinois State in the last campus-based tournament, the home team won on the home court, and I think our leadership decided at that point that it was about fairness. It was about taking our tournament to a neutral site, and of course, St. Louis made all the difference in the world because of the great facilities and the great city, and I think we made the right decision to bring it here, and I'm really proud of the tradition and history we have here.
Is there a breakthrough moment when you thought, this is viable? This has gone past a dream, it's a reality, and this is for real?
Well, I think when you think about where we started with the tournament, Kiel Auditorium was needing to be torn down at that point. We moved into the St. Louis Arena that had great ambiance, but that was also a very, very old facility. And when we knew that what is now the Enterprise Center was going to be constructed, I think we knew that we had a place where we could stay a long time.
17 wins in the NCAA tournament in just the last 7 years, and we have coaches at this dais that have made runs in the NCAA tournament all the way, in some instances, with Porter's case, to the Final Four. I've said this publicly, Doug. My first time here 25 years ago, I said, this is not a postseason conference tournament, this is an NCAA regional. It's like you prepare your teams for NCAA success because this event feels like an NCAA, at least a first and second round weekend.
It really does. I think the thing that's really sold our tournament in St. Louis and made it successful are the great coaches that we've had and that we have here today up here on the dais. It's the caliber of play of our student athletes. And there's not a single coach that's faced us from an opposing team in NCAA tournament play that isn't concerned about the tenacity. And you look at the list of teams that our teams coming out of St. Louis have beaten in the NCAA tournament, and it reads like a top 20. And yeah. Kansas 3 times, UCLA, I could go on, but it really is an impressive list of brands that we've toppled in the NCAA tournament.
But the incubator for those is this weekend, to do it on Arch Madness in an NCAA feel to it, and that's the blessing I think we all can take for granted. Your staff, though, I want to ask you, I talked about the lean, mean administrative machine, but the effort of your staff and the performance of that staff to pull not only this off, but the NCAA events you've hosted.
Well, when you look at our senior staff, there are 4 of us that have been together almost 30 years. Patty Viverito, Senior Associate Commissioner, Football Commissioner of the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Jack Watkins has been with us 29 years, Mike Kern 28. And they signed, Greg Walter, and one of our senior staffers as well. They really set the tone for what we do, not only with governance and everything else that we handle, but with these events. And couldn't be any prouder of the way that we've prepared for this tournament. We're ready to go, and it's going to be a great event.
And the excitement as you go into this 30th year and look beyond, because I'm going to read names here. All of the 5 first-teamers will come back next year, Doug. I mean, what about the future?
I think it's bright. I think it's extremely bright. And, you know, it starts with our coaches, our head coaches. And, you know, you look at the video today, and it's tremendous talent. Yeah. It's the caliber of play that has made this a real top event.
Let's give him a big hand. We also have a special proclamation, but let's give Doug a big hand. This is a first, because today here as a special guest is Steve Conway. Steve is on St. Louis Mayor Lyda Krewson's, in fact, he's Chief of Staff. And he's here today to present Doug and the Valley with an official proclamation from the Mayor's office. So please welcome Steve Conway from the Mayor's office of the City of St. Louis.
Thank you so much. The mayor is in some contract negotiations. Otherwise, she would have been here today. I look out at you just very quickly and say, you know why the Blues won this year? It's because of the demand that you put on our Enterprise Center. If you've looked in the last couple of years, all of those improvements and upgrades were because of events like this, and why we reached out to our community and did $68 million worth of upgrades in that Enterprise Center. So I hope that you have appreciated what you've contributed, and today we'd like to, recognize what you've done here at the Missouri Valley Conference. Whereas the Missouri Valley Conference is the second oldest NCAA Division I collegiate athletic conference, and the sponsors postseason championships in 17 sports, including both men and women's competitions. And whereas Arch Madness, the nationally recognized name of the State Farm Missouri Valley Conference men's basketball tournament, has now been conducted in the city of St. Louis every year since 1991. And whereas in 2006, Arch Madness was the stage for 4 Missouri Valley Conference schools who represented the conference in the NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship, and since 1991 has been the showcase for a total of 49 Missouri Valley teams that advanced to the NCAA tournament. And whereas in 2007, Arch Madness established an Enterprise Center facility record for basketball attendance with 22,162 fans. And in 2020, we will end up topping $1.4 million in 1.4 million people, all-time attendance figure. Whereas Midwestern basketball fans have embraced the Arch Madness, which has enabled the Missouri Valley Conference and the city of St. Louis to secure 13 NCAA Division I basketball championship events, including the 2001 and 2009 Women's Final Fours and the 2005 Men's Final Four. And whereas on behalf of the city of St. Louis, it is my pleasure to congratulate the Missouri Valley Conference for conducting its men's basketball postseason championship in St. Louis for 30 consecutive years, raising the visibility of our great city, and in the process, developing iconic brand in collegiate athletics. Now, therefore, I, Lyda Cruzen, Mayor of the City of St. Louis, do hereby proclaim March 5th, 2020 as Arch Madness 30th Anniversary Celebration Day in the City of St. Louis.
Thank you, Mr. Conway. And once again, we need to give some applause here to Doug, whose dream was to have this tournament 30 years ago, and it's turned into a fantastic NCAA-like event. So another round of applause for Commissioner Elgin. This league has been so successful because of the great coaches. And I'm scanning, looking at those videos down through the year. Some of the best friends in my life have been the coaches in this league. And the 6 that are represented here today certainly fit that category. Now we have a chance, while you enjoy your lunch, to take a look at tomorrow's quarterfinal matchups, if you will, and meet the 6 coaches who are not playing tonight to open the tournament. Representing the 5th seed, he is one of several several coaches who also played in this event and had success as a player and now as a head coach, as an assistant coach with Porter at Loyola in winning this event. Please welcome the head coach of the Southern Illinois Salukis, Brian Mullins. The 4-5 game in these tournaments are always awesome, and this one is going to be beyond that. It's the Brian Bowl, because not only is it Mullins, please welcome the head coach of the 4th-seeded Bradley Braves, Brian Wardle. I remember when Jerry Kill called me, then the athletic director at Southern Illinois, going, why do you know how Coach Kill talks, why do you think I hired Brian Mullins? I'm like, well, that's like the biggest no-brainer of all time, Jerry. The good news is he hired you. The bad news is you lost 70% of your scoring going into this year. How much were you ahead of schedule this year with your team, you think?
That's a tough question. You know, losing Aaron Cook to start the season obviously hurt us, and we had to readjust. And you know, Lance Jones and a lot of other guys really stepped up. And you know, we had a great team. And you know, I told the guys from the beginning of the year, we just had to try to get better every single day, and hopefully be playing our best basketball in February. And you know, I was confident in the guys we had in the locker room that we could have a special season.
Special it was. You went on a roll like mid-January to mid-February. You were 9-2 in a tough grind of the schedule. What happened there with your team where you were consistently successful during that time?
You know, in this league, every game is such a grinded out game, and we found ways to win those close games. You know, we were able to pull out some close games, and the guys kept believing in each other. And, you know, the last couple of weeks, you know, we've lost some close ones. So, you know, obviously now everyone's 0-0, and we're looking forward to this weekend.
But to play in this tournament, before I get to the playing of the tournament, your young guys, you mentioned Lance to get him out of Township High in Evanston. But then Damask. I mean, we're going to talk about Damask here in a second. To get those two freshmen, high-caliber players, what does that mean for not only over the next couple of days, but the next months and next years?
Yeah, you know, our freshman, Marcus, obviously had an incredible year. Lance really stepped up. Trent really stepped up. So, you know, we have a great foundation for the future. And, you know, I know these guys are looking forward to this experience this weekend and also, you know, to the next couple of years here at SIU.
I'm going to ask you to probably get to Coach Wardle, though, playing in this tournament, the experience, because it does feel like an NCAA tournament when you come here. What did that do to help you prepare because you had success in the NCAA tournament?
I mean, this is, you know, like you guys have said it, I mean, it's one of the best conference tournaments in the country. It's unbelievable what the Valley does for the city of St. Louis. And, you know, that atmosphere, you know, starting with Friday is just incredible. And, you know, I think our guys will start to feel it today and shoot around a little bit. And then, you know, going in there on Friday, there's nothing like it. And it does prepare you for tournament success after this tournament here.
Well, starting to feel it. Bradley felt it last year. You had confetti on your head because you won this event. But, Brian, this year for you guys, how much was it navigating? You had to deal with some injuries and adversity, and you guys were able to plow through it. Why?
Well, our seniors, I thought our senior leadership was really good. You know, Darryl Brown, Nate Cannell, Koch Barr have been with me from day one of building this program. So those guys really held it together. Then we missed Darryl for 2 or 3 games. But it's just one of those years. We've all had them as coaches. You just try to find ways to win games through that time. And we were able to, you know, hold it together with having Elijah out for a while and just stay in the mix, stay up in the top and try to get out the best seed we possibly could. And, you know, we're healthy right now, and we're excited about our opportunity.
It was a big year at Bradley. First of all, 15 home wins on campus. That had not happened in the regular season. Now, get this, since 1968. That's going way back to Robertson Fieldhouse and way past some great teams. For you to be so successful at home, how big of a step was that for you guys this year?
Well, it was big, obviously. You want to build that excitement, enthusiasm in Peoria. Everybody knows Central Illinois loves basketball, and it's fun to see those crowds back. It's taken a little, you know, every year we've made a step forward in it. But it definitely creates an environment that's hard to play in. And our guys felt comfortable at home, and that's the key to building a program is to keep constantly increase your fan base and get them excited about the product you're putting on that floor and the type of guys you have and how they play together.
It was awesome. You had 9,000 for Senior Day. You mentioned Darryl and Nate. It was great to see them honored with a great crowd there. But I'm going to ask you about the tournament as well. You guys were able to win this. The environment of the tournament, trying to win it, but feel like you're almost in an NCAA tournament before you're in the NCAA tournament.
Oh, absolutely. It's a wonderful tournament. I mean, it's great. I've been to numerous other tournaments, and I think Arch Madness is, you know, #1 I've been in, first class in every way. You got to make big shots, big plays in the big moments. I mean, I think that's what it always comes down to is you watch the games, even when we got knocked out in years previous, you just watch, you know, Northern Iowa and Loyola when Porter made his run, just guys making big shots and big moments. And we were able to do that last year. You got to keep your composure. You got to commit to the details. All those things got to be there. But really it comes down to those big moments and making those big plays.
You're going to love the 4-5 matchup. 2 really, really well-coached teams with some talent and tough kids. The Southern Illinois Salukis and the Bradley Braves tomorrow in the 4-5 game. Thanks to the Bryans of the Valley. And as I let Coach Wardle go, too, we are mindful of the loss that Bradley University had in just the last couple of days in losing one of its top players from its baseball program, at least an alum. There will be a moment of silence and remembrance prior to their game during the tournament. So we're very aware this is a family. The Valley not only runs deep, it is a family. And so, Bradley, we are sorry for your loss. We got another great game coming in the 3-6 matchup. Please welcome for the 6th seed, the Missouri State Bears, another guy who played in this tournament and has coached in this tournament, Dana Ford of the Missouri State Bears. And the 3 seed, one of the hottest teams in the country coming into the tournament. Oh, I call him Tricky Greg Lansing. The number 3 seed, the Indiana State Sycamores, and Greg Lansing. All right, Dana, I wanted to fly somebody in here to watch the layup line tomorrow night and watch the 6-seeded Bears come out and shoot layups, because they're going to go, that's the 6-seeded team in this league? Where are the other 5? I mean, there's some talent on your squad, and you guys were able to put it together toward the end of the year. What about your team kind of coming together and figuring it out as you get ready for Arch Madness?
Well, I think our guys just are playing harder than what they have all year, and playing more as a team. And we've got, a lot of juniors and seniors kind of understanding that the season's coming to an end. Their urgency's taken to another level, and just hopefully playing our best ball right now.
Ben, you're on a string, much like Bradley, with Southern Illinois, where you on a string winning 4 out of 6, and everybody's like, man, when those guys get going, look out. Well, look out. But with Lamont and Prim and the guys kind of blending together, have you seen them learn how to play together better over the last couple of months?
I think a little bit. We're playing without a true point guard, so it's not like we have someone that makes our whole team better. But if we all play hard, we all share the ball, try to take the best shot we can get, then I think as a group we can help each other play better than what we are or what we have.
I want you to take this as a compliment, though, trying to shoot the best shot. But sometimes the best offense Missouri State's got is the second shot offense. You remind me of Hugs' Cincinnati teams or his West Virginia teams. Shoot it, chase it, and dunk it back in. What about your guys' ability to chase misses and make that part of your offense?
No, I mean, that's something that we emphasize. If you told me that all of our shots are going to come off offensive rebound stick backs, I'd take that. That's a high percentage shot. But, our guys, we just need to find a way to score sometimes in the half court. But I think more importantly, when you talk about late games, winning late games, if you go and look in this tournament, the NCAA tournament, most games are won off of second chance shots. So we're definitely going to send guys to the glass.
I'll ask you the same question. You played in this tournament. You've coached in this tournament. It has an NCAA feel to it. What about playing in Arch Madness and coaching in Arch Madness?
Well, it's always a great experience. When I played, Southern Illinois and Creighton and Wichita were really good. So I think one year we had over 20,000 people watch the championship game between, I think it was Creighton and Southern Illinois. And just growing up, in Southern Illinois and being around this tournament my entire life, it definitely has a special feeling. And, the memories, even last year's with that great run. I mean, our championship game last year was a great game. I'm sure Coach Jacobson wouldn't agree, but that was an awesome, tournament championship and had a lot of drama. And I don't anticipate anything different this year.
Well, if that person I invited was watching, hey, that's the 6 seed, where's the other 5? I go, well, here's one of the 5, the 3 seed. Look at these dudes. Because, Greg, you guys put on a surge at the end of the year. What about your team playing some of its best ball when it matters the most?
Just continue to get better. They really have. It's been a group because we have so many young guys they've continued to learn and grow and trust each other a little better. And I think our defense in particular has gotten better for the most part down the stretch. The leadership of our 3 seniors has been outstanding. We've just kind of been continued to improve and going to need to do that this weekend.
Well, I want to ask you about your seniors because we think about JB being a CBC guy in St. Louis, but then Tyreek Key. But, man, Christian Williams does all of the dirty work, and I mean that as a compliment. Your seniors, I want to just expound on them a little bit more.
Well, JB, you'll talk about him first. Just an outstanding point guard. He walks in the gym. He doesn't look like much, but he's got some guts now, and he's never been afraid of the big moments. And he has gotten better. He's a diligent worker on his game. Continued to get better, and he wanted to come into this year and be the best point guard in this league. and not think he had to carry us offensively. And I think he's just improved tremendously. Bronson Kessinger coming from a compound fracture at the end of his senior year of high school. I always told him anything he gets basketball-wise is a bonus, and just a terrific guy and teammate. And Christian, he's been through a lot with injuries that he's had to deal with throughout his career, and he came to Indiana State paying his own way during the year because we didn't have a scholarship at the time. But he's a really good basketball player, and he plays at both ends of the floor. It's good to see all three of those guys having fun.
Love your freshmen, though. Laravia, William, love those guys. I mean, what about your future?
Yeah, I think the future looks good. You talk about Kobe Barnes on the bench as well, and Jared Hankins, who's redshirting, sitting over there. They're going to be able to play with Tyreek for another year, which is pretty important. But Tyreek could even tell you that those guys don't lack any confidence. I've never been around a more special group of freshmen in my life, and they're very good. And hopefully they can handle a little bit of success here in their first tournament.
You've also had confetti fall on your head. You've won this tournament as a 3 seed, 2011. What about this tournament overall?
I was at Iowa for 7 years. This thing takes no backseat to the Big Ten tournament. It's unbelievable. It's always been with the administration that runs it, the city, the hosts, from the hotels to the people in the lobbies and everybody at the Enterprise Center, the fans. It's been in a lot of these things, and there's no better time of year than coming to Arch Madness.
Ladies and gentlemen, a great 3-6 game. Indiana State, Greg Lansing, and the 6th seed, Missouri State, and Dana Ford. And we also have heavy hearts for the family at Missouri State. It's been a rough week for Dana. We'll just put it this way. He had one of his commits that was shot and killed earlier this week in a tragic circumstance. But, Dana, we're thinking of you and praying for your group and your family. It's the way the Valley is. All right, our top 2 seeds. They don't know their opponent. They got to wait till tonight. They're going to scout the 8-9 game, which will be a really good game. And then the 7-10, which will be a really good game with 2 good teams. But he has transformed his campus, not just the athletic. I talk about Andy Reid transforming the Kansas City Chiefs, but he has transformed not only his basketball program, he's transformed his campus. Please welcome the 2 seed, another guy who won this as a player and he's won it as a coach, Porter Moser of the Loyola Ramblers. And in a few minutes, we will honor our regular season champion. They are the number 1 seed. They've had a terrific year. Great non-conference, beating South Carolina, beating a top 25 team, winning in Boulder against Colorado. Please welcome Ben Jacobson of the Northern Iowa Panthers. Man, all right, Porter. Talking about just the transformation, it's always exciting to see you because now people on your campus don't have to wonder when you play, and it's become a deal there. What about this team in keeping that going alive?
Well, before I say that, I know I'm going to echo what the coaches and Ben's going to say. This event is an extra added class because, Mitch, of your participation in this. And I think we should give Mitch a huge round of applause for Mitch, for what he does for our league, how he promotes our league in the class, and all the texts he sends me about the Chiefs. Those are, I got to deal with Custer and Richardson all the time, dealing with him in Kansas City. But I'm so grateful to the Loyola community because they believed in what we wanted to do. They believed in a vision. Our athletic director, Steve Watson, you can't do this without a wide stretch of people at the university. And that's what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for that the community there wanted to have a very good basketball program, and they supported it, and the students jumped on board. So I'm thankful for the Loyola community.
But you just didn't win the Final Four, and then, oh, well, goodbye to Loyola. We'll see him in 30 years. You've built a consistent winner there. I got to ask you about Cam Krutwig, only one of 2 centers in all of college basketball this year to have a triple-double. Just his game and how special that kid is.
Cam's one of those guys, rare guys you're going to coach in your lifetime. And the funny thing about it is Cam has set the bar so high for what you expect. And the triple-double you were talking about is when we beat Vanderbilt. And I know Pete Gillen after the game asked me, and I was actually mad at Cam because he had like 2 turnovers down the stretch. I was like, my mind was mad at him. And Pete Gillen said, well, he had a triple-double. And I said, no, I didn't. And it's just for him, if you look at him being in the tops in assists, tops in rebounds, and tops in scoring, but the thing that he's tops in is leadership. For those of you that are not there every day, that don't get to see it, his leadership skills are off the charts and how much he pours into his teammates.
But your perimeter game, to me, is fascinating because you've got Lucas, who's been there. You get a junior college transfer, and Marquise. We'll talk about the blending of those guys on the perimeter. What has that meant to your team?
Well, I was really proud of our guys this year. You speak of perimeter guys. We lost 2 Larry Bird winners in Marcus Towns and Clayton Custer, and then we announced earlier that Cooper Keefus, who was on the all-freshman team, wasn't going to be available this year. And the newcomers just came in, and Tate Hall, I thought, really played well for us. Lucas Williamson's leadership, and then our freshman Marquise Kennedy. He came in and just was so willing to follow the lead of some of the veterans on what we do. And so I was pleased that we lost some really good guys, but we had some really good guys that came in and produced and were a part of what we did.
One final question. You played in this tournament and won it. You've coached in this tournament and won it. What does this tournament mean to you in being involved in this event and the class of this event?
I wear the Valley on my sleeve, and people know I'm a Valley guy. And I got chills watching the video. For you guys that don't know this, I'm aging myself. But the first Arch Madness, I was part of the Creighton team. And it really was, my last 2 years, we won on campuses. We went to Wichita State, and we won it, and we went to Illinois State and lost. And then my year that I volunteered coach to decide if I wanted to coach was here. I was on the bench as a volunteer coach at the first Arch Madness, and we won it. And I got into coaching that next year, and then to play in it, to coach at 2 different universities in it, it's just this is an awesome league. The fan bases make it awesome. I think the fan bases are passionate about the league. The leadership in Doug and his staff, when you say continuity and all those guys, Mike and Jack, and they've been there for so long, that kind of continuity makes the Valley great, and there's a number of things that do.
Credit to you and Steve, too. It's become Loyola's bowl game. Same way it's been for Northern Iowa, because this now is the highlight many times of a year for your fans. They know they're coming. They're going to be all over it, Ben. But what about your program, the way your team has come together and evolved, and what this event means to your university?
Before I get to that, can I ask Porter a question? Would that be okay?
Sure, why not?
So
Yes, I did. I was the one that sent the draft papers into A.J. Green to the NBA. That was me.
Yeah, I heard it was a package deal with Krutwig. If AJ's going, Krutwig's going with him. So this has been killing me. I've been dying for 5 or 6 years to be able to ask this question. Like, what's the cut line for when you toss your jacket? Like, what is the turnover, but what kind of turnover? Like, what's the cut line? And maybe I should ask Cam. Maybe Cam would be able to answer.
Well, it's always about the time when you walk over to the official and you pull that trump card and you start yelling at the guy, and it pisses me off, so I throw my jacket.
Well played.
By the way, who along with me is part of the Twitter site Porter's Jacket. Yes, I'm on that. It's hilarious, by the way. But I got to ask you about your team. And we talk about AJ, and we'll talk about Isaiah here in a second. But you told me to get Fife and going in the pivot. That changed your whole team. How did it change it?
Yeah, that obviously is a big deal for us, and we've seen that play out, having Austin healthy and going. And the other is Tywan Pickford. Ty played last year, but he was hurt the majority of the year and missed the entire offseason after coming off a tremendous freshman year. So having both of those guys healthy has been a big deal. And I've talked a lot about Austin away from the numbers. Those are the ones that everybody sees, of course, the points and the rebounds, and you can see him diving on the floor and you see the hustle. But I got to tell you, his approach every day to everything that he's doing has had a tremendous impact on his teammates, tremendous impact on us as his coaches, tremendous impact on our fans when we're playing. He just loves being out there. And the year he had last year with the medical condition, it zapped him, and for good reason. That was a hard 6, 7, 8 months, and so to have him back, we need him in the middle, right? We need him on the floor. We need him as a part of our offense, as a part of our defense, big-time offensive rebounder. But his mentality and the smile on his face and how much he just loves competing, Mitch, that's meant so much having him back.
It's awesome, and your team, to be honest, has accepted roles, and it's just turned into 25 wins. 2 terrific representatives. They have made runs in the NCAA tournament. They have represented this league at the highest level. Our number 1 seed, the Northern Iowa Panthers, Ben Jacobson. Our 2 seed, Porter Mosier of the Loyola Ramblers. Thank you, guys. This could not have happened, this tournament to have 30 years here, and Doug alluded to it, without partners along the way. Willing, our 10 campuses, and those names have changed, schools have changed, but there have been a core in this room that have helped make this happen. There's also a core that is at the head tables today that I want to recognize. For the Valley to have 30 years here in St. Louis with Arch Madness, it is second only to the Big East tournament that's at Madison Square Garden in New York City, of all of the Division I leagues. And with the recent upgrades at Enterprise Center that we had talked about earlier, the partnership has been extended through 2025. With that, I'd like to introduce folks at the head table. But before I do that, take a look at your table. State Farm has been, this couldn't happen without State Farm, quite honestly. I'll just put it out there. And State Farm wanted this to be special for all of you. So you see the replica courts. Those are courtesy of State Farm, and they are for you to take home, to never forget this league, to never forget 30 years, or never forget this tournament. So thank you to State Farm. Now, seated on my far right, in its 13th year as a presenting sponsor of the luncheon and a key member supporting the 30 years of Arch Madness, also their own giveaway, working with our radio partner KTRS, a confetti globe that will be a giveaway during the 30th edition of Arch Madness. Please welcome Kitty Ratcliffe, president of Explore St. Louis. Also, in its 13th year as presenting sponsor of this luncheon, represented by my man Todd Mitchell, Vice President and General Manager for Enterprise Center and Stiefel Theater, where we'll have our Hall of Fame breakfast tomorrow. Again, welcome, Todd, and thank you, Todd, and congratulations to the Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues. I love it that this league values its scholar athletes more than most leagues. In its 5th year as a title sponsor of the Scholar Athlete of the Year Award, with us today is Meg Scheidhorst, who's president of the St. Louis region for Enterprise Bank and Trust. In his 28th year as a member of the conference office staff and holding down the back row and keeping me on time, the pride of Sikeston, Missouri, Jack R. Watkins, Associate Commissioner and Arch Madness Tournament Manager. To my far left, St. Louis has been the perfect site for Arch Madness. It's also the headquarters for our perfect partner as it comes to the best, I will tell you, the best conference television network in the country in-house. As representing Fox Sports Midwest, the program director, Rick Powers. And if I might, a lot of my colleagues are here that represent the Valley on our telecasts, both on our digital and linear platforms. If they could just stand and be recognized, you'll see them. Stand up. Z's here, Kelly's here, and others. Just stand up, wave, and give them a round of applause. They bust their rear ends to make it come alive for you and your campuses. Missouri Valley Conference in Learfield is in their 10th year with partners with Learfield and the Missouri Valley Sports Properties. Representing them, Steve Williams. One of the weekends to circle for college basketball fans is when CBS presents the championship of this tournament, and not only that, now the semifinals. Representing CBS, the Vice President for Programming, Bess Barnes. In the back row, a corporate sponsor of the Valley and Arch Madness for an 18th straight year, Emily Young, Senior Brand Manager at Purina Dog Chow. The St. Louis radio home of the Valley and Arch Madness is the Big 50 KTRS. With us today, Mark Dorsey, President and General Manager at KTRS Radio. And now, one of the highlights of the year for me, and that is to recognize our on-court accomplishments of the student athletes of America's Renaissance Conference, the Missouri Valley Conference. And now it is time to announce our specialty award winners. And when your name is called, if the student athlete could please come to the stage and accept your award here in front from Commissioner Elgin and Tournament Manager Jack R. Watkins. Our first recipient is one of our proudest awards that we give out, and it's the 2020 Enterprise Bank and Trust Valley Scholar Athlete of the Year. It is not often that the Scholar Athlete of the Year is also the leading scorer in the conference. A 6'4" sophomore guard from Cedar Falls, Iowa, A.J. Green of the UNI Panthers. Congratulations, AJ. Really, it's some of the best freshmen I have seen in this league in my brief 25 years of covering it. As a group, man, does the future look bright. The freshman of the year, a 6'6" forward from Waupun, Wisconsin, Marcus Damask of the Southern Illinois Salukis. Congratulations, Marcus, and don't get far away. Our newcomer of the year, no, before that, our sixth man of the year, another freshman, an outstanding freshman, excited about this dude. From Chicago, Illinois, the sixth man of the year, Marquise Kennedy of the Loyola Ramblers. The newcomer of the year. It's not often that the newcomer of the year is also the freshman of the year, but it's that way this year. 6'6" freshman from Southern Illinois. Welcome back from Waupun, Wisconsin, Marcus Damask of the Salukis. I wondered if they were going to give you a second standing ovation, Marcus, but you got it. That's pretty good. That ties an Arch Madness record. This is a league that prides itself on defense. Some of the best defense in the nation is taught by these 6 coaches and the 4 playing tonight. It has always been a defensive conference, some of the best defense in the country. The Defensive Player of the Year, an outstanding staple of the champions this year. 6'7" senior guard from Flower Mound, Texas, Isaiah Brown of the UNI Panthers. Good job, Isaiah. Nice tie. Now let's salute our first team all-conference members. And I'm not sure in 25 years that I'm going to read this list and there's not a senior on it. It tells you about the days ahead in this league. Our first member of the Valley All-Conference squad, a 6'9" redshirt sophomore from Waverly, Iowa, the top rebounder in the Valley, Austin Fife of the Northern Iowa Panthers. Congratulations, Austin, and thank you to Southern for setting the trend. Now we're giving standing O's to all these guys. Valpo, it's your turn. An exciting player, one of the nation's best in steals, and of course leading the Valley in steals, a 6'3" sophomore guard from Chicago, Illinois, Javon Freeman Liberty of Valpo. He's playing tonight, I hope, and accepting on his behalf is Mark LaBarbera, Director of Athletics of the Valparaiso Crusaders. One of the most exciting players in this league, as is the next selection to the first team. I mentioned only one of 2 centers all year in Division I to have a triple-double. A 6'9" junior center from Algonquin, Illinois, Cam Krotwig of the Loyola Ramblers. Congratulations, Cam. Our next selection of the first team, one of the toughest dudes in this league. He does it all. A 6'2" junior guard from Salina, Tennessee, Tyreek Key of the Indiana State Sycamores. Congratulations, Tyreek. And our final first team selection is also the 2020 Larry Bird Player of the Year. The leading scorer in the Valley, one of the top scorers in the country, and one of the best free throw shooters. He's been top 4 all year long in the nation. A 6'4" sophomore guard from Cedar Falls, Iowa, A.J. Green of the Northern Iowa Panthers. It is an outstanding group of specialty award winners and first-team all-conference selections. It's also time now to recognize, and this was a tough regular season, as always, in the Valley. But they pushed through, had a great non-conference, and they had to fight their way to a 14-4 record. The 25 wins for our champion is the most on their campus since 31 wins and reaching the second round of the NCAA tournament in 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the champions of the 2019-20 season, the Northern Iowa Panthers, and to accept the trophy, Austin Fife, A.J. Green, and Isaiah Brown. Hail to the champions. Hail to the Northern Iowa Panthers. Congratulations, men. Well done. Fife, were you trying to block out Doug, or what was it? It's like tries to block out everybody. And now the reason we're here. It has been an honor for me for a quarter century to stand up here and announce our Valley Coaches of the Year. And some of the best coaches in the history of the sport have been recognized as such from this podium. This year, it was a difficult vote. Those who vote are the league's head coaches, sports information directors, and the media. As you saw from the interviews, these are quality dudes. This year, this coach, there was uncertainty about what this year would bring because last year didn't meet up to the standards of the tradition of their campus. But man, did he come through with flying colors, flying purple colors. Because he has averaged 20 wins a season during his 14 years on campus. This year, 25 wins. Mention his non-conference performance, and the most since winning 31 games since the 2015 season. But we make history today. Hear me on this. This league has been around since 1907. The young man winning this award today will tie the great Maury John of Drake for the most times to win this award in the history of the Missouri Valley Conference. Your Missouri Valley Conference Coach of the Year, Ben Jacobson of the Northern Iowa Panthers.
easy to see after, again, being in here for the last hour or so what an awesome deal we've got going. I'm just really proud to be a part of this league. I want to congratulate the award winners. Guys, man, this is a tough league this year. You know, as good as it's been in 4 or 5 years, and you guys found a way to elevate yourselves to the top of it. So congratulations. And I want to thank Doug and the staff here at the Valley, Patty and Carla and Jack and Mike. Been doing this for, as has been mentioned, been doing this for a long, long time, and the league's in a great place. There's so many things have changed in the last 30 years, of course, but even the last 5 years, let alone the last 2 years, with the number of major changes in the college basketball landscape, and to keep the Valley relevant, and not only relevant, but man, we're moving forward again. You know, the crowds are coming back around the league. The talent in the league is terrific. You know, the coaches that are here, the 4 coaches that are getting their teams ready, like, this league is in a tremendous, tremendous place. So congratulations, Doug and the entire staff, and thanks for everything that you do to give these student athletes an opportunity to do what they love to do. You know, I wish my staff could stand up here with me. You know, we've been together for a long, long time. This is 14 years for me and 19 in total at our place. And Kyle's been there for most of them. PJ's been there for most of them. Eric played for us and has now been back for a number of years. And those 3 guys are absolutely as good as it gets. And this is their award. Those guys have just been awesome again this year. Our athletic trainer's been with us all 19 years. Our strength coach, 17 years. Tuttle and Mark Sonnen are former players that are back with us now on staff. We got a new director of ops, but he's the only one that hasn't been around for a long time. I just want to thank those guys. Our administration is great. You know, I was going to say our president's a really good dude, but I don't know if you can say that about presidents. He's just a really good guy, man, and his wife Cheryl and David and his family and our administrative staff has been great. So thanks, guys. I've got a tremendous group of friends, some of which are here today, and I tell you what I appreciate most about them. They really support us, and they know who they are. They know who I'm talking about. But when I call you, we talk a little basketball, but we talk about family. We talk about the guys. We talk about things that are really, really important. And then they push me, and they expect that we're going to do well. And that's something that we wouldn't be here without you guys and gals that are here today, and a couple others. So thank you. You know, I didn't know that I was going to coach or wanted to coach. But what I can tell you is I've always loved being part of a team. I've always wanted to be a part of a team, and that goes back a long, long ways. You know, growing up, watching my dad play City League basketball, watching him play fast pitch softball, and seeing him with his teammates and seeing how he pushed his teammates, and I knew that's the only thing I remember. Is what it means to be a part of a team, and I'm so thankful that I've had the opportunity to do that and be a part of a team, and obviously do it at Northern Iowa now for a long time. But it's that part of it, I think, that led me to coaching. I had a great college coach in Rich Glass, but we're really seeing my dad with his teams and the way he went about it and the way he pushed his teammates, the way he supported his teammates is something that has stuck with me my entire life. And he's a big dreamer, and he's a fighter. He believes anything can be done, and that's meant a lot to me. Thanks, Dad. And my mom's not here. She's all of a saint. She's tough, but she's really kind and really patient, and just really love her a lot. My wife and our boys, we've got 2 boys that are 8th grade and sophomore right now, and my wife has just been unbelievable with those 2 guys. They're doing great. They've got great friends. They're doing good in school, and they like doing the different sports, and they're good kids. And my wife has just been terrific with them, and she's still putting up with me, and that's not always the easiest when you're a coach's wife and you got all kinds of things going on. So I love you, Don. And the last thing I would say is our team, man. They really embrace the challenges. You know, we missed Ty and Fife last year and had our ups and downs, but we had in Wyatt Lohaus and Miles Wenzine, we had two great seniors, and the young guys came around, and we gave ourselves a chance, and I think they learned a lot last year. But having Fife healthy and having Ty healthy and AJ a year older and Trey Burhow a year older, Isaiah and the other seniors and what they've done with their leadership, and a great example. Look, we're at Indiana State, we're at Loyola, and then, after that, we caught a little bit of heat nationally with some of the bracketology people. And, the only thing I think about being in this league a long time is, hey, anybody that wants to sign up for a November, December games at Indiana State and Loyola, you let me know. I know Porter will take it. I know Lance will take it. Anyone in the country. Doesn't matter what league you're in. Like, those are hard games, and it's that way around our league. And what I'm most proud of our guys because of who they are and the character they bring to the table every day. But man, was I proud that last week of the season, coming off of those two losses. What the guys did in our last 3 games, that was as fun a week as I have had coaching in my 14 years. And I know we just got 3 of them here, guys, but I'm really proud of you and their teammates. And so we look forward to a hard weekend. Games are going to be great. That's the way it always is down here. But again, I thank you. Very, very grateful to be a part of this league. Thanks.
One of the things down through the years, too, with Jake, is you talking about those fishing trips with your grandpa and what that meant in the formation of your career. The other thing I wanted to ask you, how long has Kyle been with you? 17 of the 19 years. AJ, how old are you? It's a really good job hiring Kyle and your staff. Good job, bud. And to see it when AJ was 3, I mean, that's awesome. But congratulations to all of our award winners and to Jake for winning this award, and so well deserved. There are a few housekeeping items that I need to extend to you today. First of all, before we adjourn, I want to mention that there are 2 meetings, and we want to be punctual with these. They're going to begin in 10 minutes sharp. The President's Council and the ticket managers. Now, the President's Council meeting will occur in the Lindbergh Room, which is on the first floor in the connector between the east and west towers. The ticket managers meeting will take place in the Laclede Room, which is also on the first floor of the connector. There will be a valley directional signage to make sure to guide you on your path, but we want to begin those in 10 minutes sharp to stay on schedule today. At 2:30 this afternoon, there will be a meeting of the conference's development directors in the Market Street Room, which is on the first floor in the connector between the east and west towers. Please make sure you take your State Farm basketball floor with you to remember this day and remember this tournament and remember the last 30 years and get ready for the next 30. Thanks for attending today, and let the 30th edition of the Madness begin.